So it's very, 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 very intense.
Yeah, I bet.
For a period, it is all hell breaks loose for 4 or 5 weeks, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome along to another instalment of our Kuhn-baler mini-series. Throughout this series we have been delving deep into the world of Kuhn-balers, charting their journey all the way from factory to customer. In this episode we're doing something a little bit different. We are in Shropshire today with dairy farmer Ben Charmley, and you could say we're going to get the proof in the pudding, because we're going to chat to Ben about his experience feeding the bales made by a Kuhn combi-baler. So that is the plan, and as ever, before we dive into the bales and what you think of them, Ben, just tell us a little bit about your farming business here.
So we are a 500 cow dairy business, and we're spring block calving, so everything calves. We calve 390 out of 500 in February. Most of them are calved down by March. We're a grass-based system, so we're looking to do as much milk as we can off grass with little feed inputs, and then come over the Christmas period we actually dry off, and we've already got some dry now. We're coming up to the beginning of dry off, and that's what are on these bales here, along with some rising 2-year-olds.
And as well as yourself, who else is involved in the business?
Involved in the business, it's a family business, grass-based, regenerative, sustainable business really. My mum and dad are still involved in the backdrop. They're sort of stepping back now, but it's me and my brother Jonathan that are driving the business forward really, between the two of us. We run it jointly, and we believe in this system and what we're doing, yeah.
Whereabouts are we today in Shropshire?
We are in the north end of Shropshire, so we're just butting up to Cheshire. You're about 2 miles from the border.
And the land type you're on around here, what would that be?
So we have 60 acres here of very light sandy-loam ground, which is why we can outwinter on this ground. The majority of our land is heavy clay,
right,
where the cows would disappear if they step foot on it this time of year on this sort of a system, so we have to be very careful on field selection. Yeah.
Right, that's it. Well, I mean, today already I've seen, this field here, it's holding up well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant really. I mean, we're having a kind time with the weather at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different to the last back end in 2023. That was a bit of a...
That was very challenging, but we got through it.
Yeah.
Cows were fine. Yeah.
That's it. So, you've explained a little bit about this this grazing system. Just tell us a little bit more about it, how it works.
So, through the summer, we'll be making, like most people make, big cuts of silage in the clamp.
Yeah.
And then all the time, we'll get little surpluses on the grazing platform. And they're quite expensive to get a chopper out to make 10 acres of silage.
Yeah.
So this is where we'll come in with a baler. We'll bale 10 acres off, and then we just keep baling those surpluses up, and we just keep stacking them on our selected field. And then come October, we'll then place all these bales out. I come with a meter wheel and some reels and measure the field up so I can get my bale spacings correct and work out how many bales I need on the field. And yeah, we plonked all these out at the beginning of October, ready to graze. We started them last week, yeah. So
yeah, just tell us a little bit more about your block calving as well. So when would your spring calving, is it? Spring
calving, so we'd start the heifers at start the back end of January, last week in Jan, and the main herd at kick in first week in February.
Right.
So it's very, 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 very intense.
Yeah, I bet.
For a period, it is all hell breaks loose for 4 or 5 weeks, yeah.
Just go, go, go.
But then the beauty of it is then those cows are producing their peak amount of milk when they're at grass. So it's environmentally friendly, it's sustainable, it's low cost, it's regenerative. There's a real push now. You'll see amongst this lay, there's a lot of clover in here. We're stitching in plantain and sheep's bonnet and other herbs into the lays now to improve soil structure.
Right.
And they go into the bales as well, and they eat that, yeah. So that's a big driving part of the business now as well, yeah. not, you know, we want to make money like everybody does, but there's a big push. The
Absolutely.
environment's a big thing now.
That's it, environment's a big thing, and for your bottom line as well. You know, if you can do it the most efficient way, it all helps, doesn't it?
That's it. That's it.
And so, like say, your peak milk would be throughout the summer.
That's it.
And what sort of yields would you be getting?
We'd
roughly?
be getting over about 6,500 litres, high fat, high protein milk.
Yeah.
As little this summer, this year's been a tough one because it's a wet spring, dryish sort of summer. We had to feed more concentrates than what we would have liked, but we're trying to keep round the sort of 1/2 to 3/4 of a tonne of concentrates per head.
Right.
So we're doing as much as we can off forage and grass as such. Yeah.
That's it, exactly. Making the most of what you got, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. So then your dry period then. So we're in beginning of November now in 2024. Like we said, so far so good with the weather. It's pretty mild at the moment. When would you sort of be bringing them in? How long would you keep them out like this now?
So the milking herd, they come in at night at the end of October, and they're grazing by day now for maybe another week, 10 days, weather dependent, and then we'll pack in grazing all together. This group here, these are not in milk. These are really on here, so there's more space for the milking cows inside, and these will graze on here till the middle of December, and then once we've dried off completely, we're feeding a lot of hay then, that we can stock the sheds a bit tighter.
Yeah.
All these guys, they'll come into the sheds then, come December, and the deepest, darkest bit of the winter now, we don't actually have anything out on crop really, so you can't, it's only sort of halfway to out wintering. We're only really on it in the shoulders. We're on it in the sort of early autumn, and then again sort of springtime, maybe middle of February, we'll have just a few back out on here while we're calving to make a bit of space inside.
Yeah. So onto these bales then. These Kuhn-made bales. What are we thinking?
Yeah, they're good. We moved and we work with a really good contractor, really, A.R. Richards. They're a great, you know, they're a real great business to work with.
Yeah.
They do the bulk of our contracting work.
Which we spoke to in one of the other episodes, one of the Kuhn-baler customers. So he's your contractor for these bales, is he?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's half the reason we're using the Kuhn-baler, because those guys are such great people to work with. We work with lots of great contractors, to be fair, but this one in particular does a lot of our work. Yeah, and that's why they said they bought this Kuhn-baler, and the reason we liked it is because there's no net anymore.
No, this is the film on film.
Yeah, so you can see when before we were cutting them open, they're very easy to cut open.
Simple, isn't it?
They seem to hold the shape. Like these bales were made in June. They were then put in a big stack on the field while we were grazing it with milkers. They've then been picked up again and moved again. So they've been moved 2 or 3 times, like.
Yeah.
And they're still holding the shape. And the other thing, that the wrap doesn't seem to get entangled in the silage. I've had it on other cases. Your first 2 layers of silage have got wrap in amongst it, whereas it doesn't seem to be the case for these. Yeah.
Right. It's just cut it open, peel it off.
Yeah.
That's it.
The net, like you say, we hated net with a passion. And if the net gets mud in it on a field, as you can imagine, it's then very heavy to carry.
Yeah. And then you've got 2 lots of plastic types to dispose of them.
That's it. Yeah.
This is just the one type. And how many bales would you sort of make a season?
We probably make about 1,000 bales of silage, I think, yeah.
Right, oh, it's a fair few then.
We feed some bales inside, we feed some squares as well, but I'd say we make good 500-600 rounds, yeah.
Yeah, and your pit silage, that's for everything indoors, is it?
That's it, the pit silage is for the milkers, really, yeah. We make this is drier stuff, really, for it's geared up for dry cows, really. That wetter sort of silage doesn't really want to be in a bale.
No.
Yeah.
This is bordering on haylage type sort of stuff, is it?
Yeah, more, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, those cows don't need that level of energy and protein when they're dry. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I say, they've retained the shape. We can clearly see that around this field. They are still, you know, the shoulders are still
That's it, yeah.
there. How do you rate the feed quality? Do you think this Kuhn-baler that's made these has actually made a difference or made an impact on feed quality as well?
That's much the same. The key to that is not having... The key to the feed quality with bales is down to the farmer, really. It's making it in good weather. But it's making sure there's no holes in them. And we have had it in the past. That might be more down to the film, I don't know. If we've had it in the past, so we've been picking up bales and a lot of them rip. And then as soon as you get a rip in them, even when you've taped them up, the moisture can still get in.
Yeah. And the grass type for the bales, what would that be?
A mixture of stuff. but in general, we'll try and pick paddocks where we've lost quality with the milkers. So the milkers will go round and they'll do, let's say they've done a bad job of grazing, and it'll be because there's stem coming in the plant and seed head, and that'll be the kind of stuff we bale up, and that sort of stuff bales better than lush sort of leafy grass.
Yeah.
That'll be the kind of stuff we put into the bale, really. So then the milkers in the summer, they're having all the top quality leaf, and then we're using all this seed head and stalk to feed dry cows here.
Yeah. Chop length, do you have these bales chopped as well or not?